Hey friends, are you ready to step into a world where nightmares come alive? Welcome to our new channel, The Haunted Nightmares, your ultimate destination for spine-chilling horror stories. Are you brave enough to stay? The lighthouse keepers last night. The small island of Rynmoor had been shrouded in fog for as long as anyone could remember. Its only notable feature was the ancient lighthouse, a towering relic that had guided countless ships safely to shore. The island's keeper, an old man named Elias Thome, was as much a fixture of Rynmore as the lighthouse itself. Elias had been the lighthouse keeper for decades, and in all that time, he had never once let the go out. It was said that his father and his father before him had maintained the beacon through storms and darkness. The lighthouse was not just a job for Elias, it was a sacred duty passed down through generations. One October evening, a fierce storm rolled in from the sea. Lightning flashed across the sky, and the winds howled with a fury that rattled windows and bent trees. Elias, as always, climbed the narrow, winding staircase to the lantern room to ensure the beacon was burning bright. But as Elias reached the top, he was greeted by an unsettling sight. The lamp's flame flickered erratically, and a strange, oily black smoke curled from the base. Elias frowned and leaned into inspected, noticing in a faint, eerie whisper carried by the wind. He made adjustment and cleaned the lamp. All the while the whispering grew louder, though he could make out no clear words. The storm dragged on, and Elias felt a chill that had nothing to do with the wind. He dismissed it as an exhaustion, deciding he needed to rest before dawn. That night, free from reluctancy, Elias was plagued by unsettling dreams. Visions of shadowy figures moving in the storm, their faces obscure and eyes glowing with an unnatural light. He woke up with a start, drenched in sweat, and hurried back to the lighthouse. As Elias climbed the stairs again, the storm had only intensified. Thunder cracked and roared like an angry beast, and the wind screamed around the lighthouse as if trying to tear it apart. In the lantern room, the lamp's light had dimmed. Amy's hand shook as he adjusted the controls, his unease mounting. The whispering was now a cacophony of voices, indistinguishable and full of malice. Then, through the violent storm, Elias saw something that made his blood run cold. Out of the darkness, a ship emerged. Its lights were out, and it was drifting dangerously close to the rocks. Elias knew that the ship could not see the lighthouse beacon through the storm, and if it continued, of course it would crash. Desperately, Elias turned the lamp's intensity to its full power. The beam cut through the storm, but the ship did not alter its course. Pang of dread, he knew that if the ship did not see the light, soon it would be doomed. As he watched helplessly, the ship seemed to change course slightly, as if it had caught a glimpse of the lighthouse. Elias clung to the hope that it was enough. Just then, a blinding flash of lightning illuminated the room, and the lamp's light went out completely. Elias' heart raced. In suffocating darkness, Elias frantically tried to relight the lamp, but it was withdrawn. The whispering voices became deafening, filling his head with incoherent babble and sinister laughter. He looked around, his fear mounting as shadows seemed to dance in the periphery of his vision. The storm's fury reached to its peak. Elias' hand fumbled as he worked, his mind unraveling under the pressure. He could hear the distant crash of waves against the rock and knew that the ship had likely found its doom. Tears streamed down his face as he screamed into the tempest, pleading for someone, anyone to see the light. Suddenly the storm's violence ceased. The wind died down, and the whispering voice fell silent. Elias looked out at there in the calm after the storm. was the ship wrecked on the rock, its broken hull silhouetted against the waving storm cloud. Elias sank to his knees, consumed by despair. The next morning, when the storm had passed and the sun's light returned, the villagers of Rynmoor found the lighthouse keeper dead in the lantern room. The lamp's mechanism was intact, but the light had never been dwelled. Elias' face was frozen in the expression of terror. The villagers spoke of how the lighthouse had been ominous beacon that night, casting an airy glow across the wrecked ship. They said that Elias had been warned by the voices of those lost at the sea, voices that were angry and vengeful. The old lighthouse keeper had failed in his final duty, and his failure he had become part of the island's dark legend. The lighthouse stood tall and silent on Rynmoor, but it was never the same. Each storm seemed to carry whispers of those who had perished at the sea, and the islanders spoke in harsh tones of the keeper who had failed them, his soul forever bound to the haunted lights of the lighthouse. Thank you for joining us in the shadows. If you enjoyed the fright, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, remember the darkness is always watching. If you have your own stories, email us